So yes, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is finally upon us in early access, and while most players are currently enjoying it, some players are calling out the dev team about what they're saying is a very shady tactic, but we do have new replies from the devs explaining why things are the way they are. Plus, even in early access, Space Marine 2 is doing insane numbers. Can it ultimately challenge Helldivers 2 by the time we get to full launch? And we got to go over those numbers together. And how to play operations mode with bots only if you don't want to play with randoms online. This is a workaround. Some people have been asking about it. And first impressions of PvP multiplayer, with some fans loving it and some saying it's just a tacked on mode. Prepare yourselves for some very divisive opinions on this one. And yes, we're going over your top comments later in the video. So let's dive into this one. It says Space Marine 2 debuts with mixed ratings at 62% on Steam. So I asked myself, what in the world is going on? But the good news is those ratings are currently rising. We're already sitting at 71% positive, and it's going up and up. In fact, right now we are sitting at 74.14%. So that is a pretty drastic jump to the upward. And I think it's going to only increase going forward. We'll see. I might be wrong. You never know. There could be something absolutely devastating they do to the game, but hopefully not. But anyway, yeah, back to this. We have this right here. This is going to be a huge game. 134,000 Space Marines deployed just in early access. Praise the Emperor. Look at those numbers. That is absolutely crazy. But you know what? How will it fare against the juggernaut Helldivers 2? So check out this article right here. At the time of writing, Space Marine 2 is sitting at 122,000 plus concurrent players on Steam with a 24-hour peak of 134,000. To put that in context, the first game peaked at 15,000 or so players. That is mind-boggling, and that was 13 years ago. While this is an incredible achievement, that means it beats even the best Warhammer 40K games. The future still might be even brighter still, with the potential for it to challenge even Helldivers 2's staggering number of 458,000 concurrent players, which, you know, that is quite the daunting task. Even still, at 134,000 plus concurrents on its first day of release. And you got to remember, it is still a work day as well. That is extremely impressive. Curious to see what the weekend brings. I will keep you guys in the know about that one. But not everything is all positive. You know, there are some players that are having major issues with what they're calling very shady tactics from the dev team. So we got to get into what the user reviews are saying. So check it out. It says not recommended. And it goes on to say this right here. This installs Epic Online Services automatically for absolutely no reason. You can uninstall it right away and the game works perfectly fine. This is not mentioned anywhere on the store page. Completely unacceptable. But there is a reason as to why this was installed. And here is the developer commenting on it, saying, "Hello, Deuce. We understand your concern with the installation of Epic Online Services client, and we can assure you that this was only implemented to support optional crossplay between Steam and Epic players and to synchronize friend lists between the two stores. Also, this is not a necessary step in order to enjoy Space Marine 2. If you're having any more issues, do not hesitate to reach out through our support channels." I guess it just wasn't communicating clearly whatsoever. And some people absolutely cringe with the idea of being kind of like caught off guard and having to download this as part of the package, especially when they're downloading it through Steam. Now, some people are like, hey, chill. Reason is fine. It's no big deal. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about it if you are playing on PC. I haven't heard any of this controversial stuff happening on the side of consoles. But we also do have this right here as well. It says not recommended. This will be a thumbs up when you add ultra wide support. Should have been included in launch. Seriously, what the F? Yeah, you know, that is a bummer. You know, people spend that heavy dollar amount for that early access, and if they have ultra wide and they can't utilize it, that is, you know, a big bummer for sure. But we do know that is coming very, very soon, that sort of support. So that is in their roadmap for sure. But, you know, we have people saying this as well. Meanwhile, I'm having a blast and not believing how well my 2080 runs the game at 1440p. For me personally, so far it has been an extremely well optimized game. Let me know how it's running for you guys, but I don't have like the best graphics card in the world. which I really do want to get a 4080. But yeah, mentioning that, some players are experiencing crashes at the beginning of the game and crashes throughout the game, which is a bummer to hear. All of this stuff, I think, will be further optimized. This is kind of like early access period. And I hate to say it, this period for a lot of these game releases lately, especially if they're online, seem to be like a beta test for full launch. So hopefully we do get some news about a patch, a day one patch for September 9th. That's when I think a big update would happen to iron out a lot of these problems. Again, I'll keep you guys in the know, but yeah, overall, what we are seeing with the rating is kind of like in line with this right here. Recommended, how much fun it is with the moment-to-moment gameplay. They just nailed down that moment-to-moment intensity and between the different classes. I love the different feelings of gameplay styles between those different classes. And then you have a variety here as well. It's the full package. You got the campaign, PvE, and PvP. More on PvP, though, later, because there's some divisive opinions on that one. But you know what? Some of you guys are disappointed in finding out that you can't have an option to like toggle offline online modes when it comes to cooperative play. It was advertised before the game released that you would be able to hop in to cooperative modes with the AI bot. So where is the option? And yeah, what's briefly talked about here in this thread, offline operations to play with bots, not randoms, option missing. Where's the option for this? I've searched high and low. If they remove the option for playing with bots as teammates in operations, that would be completely stupid all in all. I'm assuming that that's what he's saying there. But yeah, we do have this suggestion right here, which seems to work. I've tried it myself. It says simple. Select the operation, go straight into the ready section near your Thunderhawk right away. Game starts with bots. Steam is still online. I had one instance where players joined, but I was basically finished. So if that can happen, that is the one thing that I have heard, that despite you doing that in every attempt to not play with randoms and not play with others, they will still hop into your game. So yeah, there still needs to be some sort of offline option, but I think they did this at first with the game to try to make the community as active as possible and to make sure that you had people to play with in matchmaking. So I'm assuming that's the reason why they did this. But you know what? Maybe the dev team eventually will add some sort of option in the future just to play with bots where you can just go straight into that. But yeah, we got to talk about PvP. I've had a little bit of time to dabble in PvP, and let me tell you what, it is a hell of a time so far, at least for me personally. There are some players that are saying that there's problems, and there are others that are saying, hell, why even add this mode in the first place? I would rather have the devs focus up on what matters, and they think what matters is PvE. So check it out right here. It says this: PvP Melee is functionally useless. Since I've only played a couple games so far, and as far as I can tell, Melee is currently a liability in PvP multiplayer. In the amount of time it takes you to kill someone with most melee weapons, you could just shoot the guy. Light attacks don't stop them from shooting, and heavy attacks just make you vulnerable. The only good melee right now seems to be sticking the assault jump pack slam on a direct hit and blitzing a solo target. I think Saber needs to change how stagger works for melee at bare minimum, but personally think they need to increase melee damage overall. Plus, double check if pairing is working as intended. Please note that I'm writing this without having enough time to unlock and test the Power Fist or the Thunder Hammer. This warning may be subject to change. So for those of you that have been playing, of course, as a melee-centric character in PvP, how are you guys enjoying it? Are you enjoying it at all? Do you think that this dude is right about them needing to adjust the melee in PvP? Perhaps give it a buff? Sound off in the comments down below. I myself have been playing tactical in PvP, and I have found very good uses for melee. Like, I have gotten several kills off of melee. Of course, I do the 1-2 punch tactic, as I call it, where you do some shooting and then you do melee as a finisher type thing. And it works great so far. So yeah, I don't know. I recommend trying that if you're struggling. But you know, we do have some replies here as well. Yeah, the PvP is why I was really hyped for the game. But after playing a bit, I realized just how bad the combat is and how plain the PvP is. It's just a massive disappointment. Literally, no fun skill-based mechanics to play with at all. And furthermore, we have this one. PvP overall feels like it was added last minute to the point where I wonder why they even bothered with it. Could have used that dev time to make an additional PvE map or two. Ouch, yikes. You know, I feel like the dev team is going to have kind of like an uphill battle going forward, trying to please everyone. You have the PvE audience, PvP, and then you have a whole other audience that likes both. So I'm in the group that likes both. I will say I do lean more into PvE, not gonna lie, but I was pleasantly surprised with how much fun this Eternal War mode actually is. In fact, this Reddit post right here agrees with what I'm saying. So Eternal War is actually really fun. The time to kill isn't too fast or too slow. It encourages teamwork. All the classes seem relatively useful. It reminds me of a lot of Gears PvP, and you get around 25 requisition per game. I'm having a really great time. Yeah, and let me tell you what, when Gears of War was first around, I played the hell out of PvP with my bros. We all sat down and rotated the controller, and it was a hell of a time. That's what this is reminding me of, and I honestly want to see them support it in the future. Now, I don't know how in-depth they're going to get with the PvP down the road, and I haven't gotten into any of the major unlocks to determine if it's super in-depth, but it doesn't really necessarily have to be, because it's nice to be able to play PvE for a few hours and then maybe rotate over to PvP and have a good time in that, So yeah, that's how I've been gaming right now with my Space Marine 2. Let me know if you guys are the same way. Very, very curious to see what you guys are thinking of PvP versus PvE now that the game is out in early access. But yeah, you know what? It's time to go over your top comments. So let's do this. Remember, as always, love reading your comments. So leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So let's do it. We have this one right here. It makes me sad that people don't know or have forgotten that a season pass isn't a battle pass. What modern gaming has done. I know it is sad, and I really do admire the plan that Saber has for their DLC. It is, in my opinion, the way that a lot of other companies need to do it. It doesn't splinter the communities. And in fact, you do see a lot of free-to-play games actually doing something similar, and they are able to keep the community together with this type of strategy. So I'm curious to see how this works out in the long term. Only time will tell. Now, we have this one right here. Please, just please, let there be some form of salute or nil emote so I can join PvE lobbies as a Black Templar Apothecary. Hell yes. They need to add that in there for sure. We'll see if they add that. They don't have too many emotes going on right now. So it says, call me an apothecary because I am about to apothecary. Yeah, man, it would be cool to see that type of healer role in the game. If they do add a higher difficulty, I would imagine they would add that class right in there alongside with it. Now that would make a ton of sense for sure. Next up, we have, I want my damn lightning claws. Hell yes. 159 upvotes on that one. So a lot of you guys want to see that sort of thing. There are a lot of ways they can definitely expand the weapon list. They do want to add a whole new class. So remember that. Maybe, just maybe, we will get new weapons alongside that. Also, Power Axe, Chain Axe, Librarian class, Chaplain class, and a chapter banners for the selected chapters in customization. This guy's got the right idea. Put him on the dev team. Then we have, imagine being a Concord dev, seeing that tweet about Space Marine success. Oof. Oh man, that would hurt. Working so many hours, countless years, practically, on a game that, it failed hard. We haven't seen that type of failure in a while. Oof. But anyway, yeah, it's good to see this game being so successful. And September 9th is going to be very, very telling, especially the weekend of the 13th through the 15th, when, everyone can get together and really enjoy the game. We're talking about early access players with launch players. That's when it's going to be very telling to see how players receive this, I think, and if it's going to be kind of supported in the long term. So I just think what they have created here is just a fantastic package, I do wish the single player was a little longer. I sincerely wish they had managed to meet their target goal of 10 to 12 hours as advertised. That doesn't seem to be the case whatsoever with the single player, but still enjoying the hell out of operations mode. That's why I'm here. PvP is just an extra fun thing that I'm really enjoying as well. So yeah, overall, I'm in this one for the long term if they can just keep up with the content and supporting it with patches, updates, making it a smooth experience. So far, it's been a pretty good experience with servers. There's been some disconnects, but nothing too drastic. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more news and updates about all things Space Marine 2. I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.